The pandemic has the worlds of education and sport floating in uncertainty. While we patiently wait once again to see our sports star performing their best on screen, it's a good time to reflect on how our education system can nurture more sporting talent. In this light, sports quotas shoulder a large responsibility to provide a decent education as well as a platform to excel in a chosen sport to a qualified student. Even though many of us have heard of this quota, we might not be aware of its intricacies. One glaring reason is that unlike caste and domicile based reservation systems, sports quotas lack a uniform central framework. In a country where sport is mainly seen as khelkood or playing games and rarely seen as an achievable profession, sports quotas ensure that deserving sportsperson get a decent shot at a good education and a secure future. However, there's a whole lot of mystery surrounding the implementation of these quotas and the problems plaguing the system. What could these be? And how can we begin to understand these problems and positively change the current system? Let's try and find out. In simple terms, a sports quota is like any other reservation, except here, a certain number of seats are allotted to sportspersons for jobs, college, or school admissions. It aims to recognize their achievements and propel them towards pursuing the sport. Colleges generally have eligibility criteria consisting of two factors. One, the sport the college or university considers under the reservation, and two, the level at which an applicant must have played, for example, district, state, or national. To filter the applicants further, colleges often hold trials or skill tests to judge the talent of the sportsperson before awarding them a reserved seat. And this is where the problem begins. In the beginning, I had mentioned the absence of a uniform system for sports quota admissions. To put things into perspective, Delhi University or DU colleges do not conduct trials for sportspersons who have represented their country in sports and tournaments that have been recognized under the Indian Olympics Association, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, or affiliated games. However, DU colleges conduct trials for applicants who haven't represented the country. This includes skill tests, game performance tests, game fitness tests, and more. On the other hand, for colleges under the Tamil Nadu Engineering Admissions or TNEA, there are no sports trials conducted for students. Instead, there is a point-based system for the candidates based on their cumulative achievements in sports. Here, a certain number of points are allotted to each level of the sport that they have played in. There are even differences in the percentage of reservations across colleges in the country. DU, for example, allocates 5% seats to sports and extracurricular activities, with each college having the liberty to decide the proportion of the split. This decision is primarily taken according to the sport played by each college in different tournaments. While DU colleges and TNEA embrace the sports quota system, Gujarat University has taken a completely different approach. It has decided to scrap sports quotas and instead provide full scholarships to applicants who have performed in national and international sporting events. When it comes to attendance requirements, some institutes like Kerala University are quite liberal and accommodate shortage in attendance of sportspersons for sport-related activities, whereas there have been other cases to the contrary in many other universities. Adding to this confusion is the fact that not all colleges include sports quotas in their admission process in the first place. Moreover, only a few colleges release the information about the eligibility criteria beforehand, such as the sports being taken into consideration and the manner of evaluation. Without a uniform framework and implementation, this system can be exploited through loopholes. In 2018, the Anti-Corruption Bureau identified 3 under-deserving candidates who had secured MBBS seats through sports quota by submitting chess certificates that were obtained through donor entry. Donor entry is basically a provision in which a person can pay 10,000 rupees to get a national participation certificate or 20,000 rupees to get an international participation certificate. Based on a number of interviews with students in Chennai, we realized that many universities that are not transparent with the sports quota policy tend to misuse this reservation. For example, some reserved seats were given to middlemen who were responsible for scouting not only for eligible sportspersons but also those who could pay additional donations to the colleges. Although a customary test and evaluation of the applicants would take place, the amount of money potentially brought in by the applicant was also a major factor in their selection. All of this points towards a greater need for a central and state-wise uniform framework that ensures that the deserving get their due through this reservation platform. Obviously, this hasn't happened yet. Even in the Lok Sabha, the issue of centralizing sports quotas was put forth only once since 1999, and the Ministry of Human Resource Development in 2006 declared that it had no such proposal to centralize the sports quota admissions. This lack of a uniform system results in an uneven playing field for the budding sportspersons of the country. In one location, it could be an advantage, and in another, it might not even exist, and even if it does, it could be taken advantage of. So, how do we solve this? The first step is to take this problem seriously. These issues have rarely been a serious topic of conversation in the media, probably due to the lack of transparency and the data regarding sports quotas in India. Even this video was primarily created using information from High Court judgments, Lok Sabha debates, and occasional one-off article on the topic. Beyond this, a centralized framework could be a significant step towards a transparent system that can weed out exploitative practices. The government has been taking significant and welcome steps in this regard. The Khelo India program is envisaged to rebuild an Indian sporting culture and framework from the grassroots. The tournaments organized under this initiative, such as the Khelo India Youth Games, could be a step towards authentic certification of athlete performance. Moreover, the 2019 budget included the establishment of a National Sports Education Board under Khelo India to popularize sports at all levels. This could be a promising opportunity to increase both accountability and transparency within the sporting ecosystem, and specifically for sports quotas. India is a land full of sporting potential and talent, and it's time that our policies reflect that and give them an opportunity at a good education and a platform to excel in their field. Have you or anybody you know been a part of sports quota system in India? And what has been your experience? And in your opinion, what could be done differently to make this a better, effective system? Let us know your thoughts in the comment box down below. You can follow us for more such stories on our website and our social media handles. The links are in the description. Stay safe. See you next time.